Hi Leo, welcome to Sweet Tea Astrology and Tarot. My name is Erica. Welcome to the channel. I'm so glad that you found me. This is your Venus retrograde special video report. I'm going to focus the majority of my time and energy on either speaking about Venus, the planet, what it represents, retrogrades, what they represent, and pulling cards for you. And if those cards happen to highlight the eclipses, I will give them that energy then. But if they don't, I'm not going to put the energy into this video because really it's too close for me to be doing that now. So I spoke about the eclipses at length in your February videos, the February video and the mid-month video. I have those uploaded on my channel. If you want to watch those, I encourage you to do that. So Leo, Venus, the planet of love, beauty, harmony, money, and resources, will be going retrograde in Aries and into Pisces throughout the spring months of 2017. Okay, retrograde is a motion that looks like an optical illusion in the sky. It will look like Venus is going backwards from our perspective here on Earth. But it's an optical illusion. The planet really isn't going backwards. The best way I ever heard of a retrograde being described so someone could visualize it would be like this. Imagine you're driving along on the interstate and you pull up behind someone who is not going fast enough for you. So you get in the passing lane and you accelerate, you speed up, and you are now at an even pace with the car that you're trying to pass. You accelerate, and you finally get enough distance between you to where when you look in your rear view mirror, it almost seems as though that car that you passed up might be going backwards. It's an optical illusion based on the amount of distance you've put in between those two moving objects. It's the same idea when we're talking about a retrograde. Retrogrades also are interesting because there is a pre-retrograde, which is considered like the appetizer, where the issues or lessons that are going to be highlighted throughout the retrograde will first be possibly appearing in your world, and then the retrograde will give you an opportunity to re-examine those issues. And the post-retrograde shadow is like the tying up of loose ends and the resolution of whatever has gone on. So retrogrades can also put us under the influence of going more introspective or being reflective, or just a little bit more introverted when it comes to the different energies at play. And with this being Venus going retrograde, we will be paying particular attention to issues of our love life, our relationships, the things that we value, and our money. So the Venus retrograde will be occurring. We're actually under the influence of the pre-retrograde shadow, that appetizer period. We're under that influence right now. Venus will start the official retrograde on March the 5th and will officially end the retrograde on April 14th. But after April 14th, she needs to finish that post-retrograde shadow, that tying up of loose ends. So the main retrograde phase is March 5th through April 14th, but there's a pre-retrograde period and a post-retrograde period where we are re-examining the issues at hand. The houses that this retrograde will play out for you in is your 9th and 8th house, Leo. The 9th house is the house that's ruled by Sagittarius, and I like to think of it as your worldview expanded through study or travel. This can be higher education, long-distance trips, adventures, questing. This is the house of foreign people, foreign places, and foreign things. It also governs the study of foreign languages, religion, philosophy, astrology, legal system matters, and political matters. And Venus will tiptoe back into Pisces, which is your 8th house, and that's the house that's ruled by Scorpio. That's the house of life, death, and rebirth, that entire cycle. It can also be the house of birth. It's the house of your instincts. That can be primal, basic, or human. It's the house of other people's money. That would be money coming to you either through gift or another person's hard work, not necessarily your hourly wage. Like a tax return, a loan, inheritance, lottery winnings, your spouse's income. Pardon me. That 8th house also deals with transformation, metamorphosis, and regeneration, and it also speaks to sexuality. Now, Venus moving into that house of other people's money and sexuality indicates that there will be a re-examination of both money and love for the Leos out there. It may not be for all of you going through both of them. For some of you, it may just be love. For some of you, it may just be money. But all Leos out there will be experiencing issues in love or money between that 9th and 8th house. So, the way that you can ride this wave, this energetic wave, and this re-examination of the things that we love and value is to focus on yourself. When it comes right down to it, everything else around you is subject to change. So focus on yourself. That isn't to say you need to be a jerk, but when it comes to making decisions, ultimately, you need to be concerned with yourself. The challenges in this situation or in this retrograde are going to be in the issues or areas of love and money. The 9th house and the 8th house is a pretty big area when we're talking about love and money. It could be love from a foreign person, or falling in love in a foreign place, or it could be trying to find the funding for higher education or long distance trips. It could be your partner is relocating or needing to relocate for a job. It could be any of those situations, and many more. It really just depends. There are perks that are associated with retrogrades as well. And with this Venus retrograde, you would get the opportunity to find reconnections. And you would also have an opportunity for renegotiations. The fact that Venus is going retrograde in the house of sexuality, that 8th house, really makes me feel like you're probably going to be dealing with possible lovers from the past coming back into your world for a re-examination of things. The best thing to do is to ask yourself, is this worth fighting for? Whatever situation you're faced with. Pardon me. They've been doing some open burning close to my house, clearing brush, and it's aggravated my breathing passages, so I find myself coughing an extraordinary amount than what I would normally do. I've got a drink close by. If I need to stop and take a swig, I will. I'm hoping to not, though, so pardon me. But ask yourself if the situation at hand is worth fighting for, and that will really give you a better perspective on how you feel about it. If you feel like it's worth fighting for, then by all means roll your sleeves up and fight for it. If you feel like it's worth fighting for, but only after there's been some rehabilitation or some renegotiations to the situation, then do the fixing and then do the fighting for it. But if you've come to find that the situation is no longer worth fighting for, then you need to acknowledge that as well and release it with loving gratitude and grateful energy for the lessons and the growth that it brought you, because new stuff is coming your way. So Leo, what I'm going to do now is transition over to the cards. I'm going to pull some tarot cards for you, but what I did, I modified the deck, and it's I pulled all of the major arcana cards and all of the aces. So the Ace of Cups, the Ace of Pentacles, the Ace of Swords, and the Ace of Wands are in this modified deck along with the major arcana. I will be reading reversals as well in this particular video. I'm going to be pulling a card from 4 different oracle decks, and I'm going to show you those boxes now. I'm going to pull a card from the Sage Goddess Gemstone Oracle deck. I'm also going to pull a card from the Butterfly Oracle deck for Life Choices by Doreen Virtue. I'm going to pull a card from the Divine Circus Oracle by Elena Fairchild. And I'm also going to pull a card from the Journey of Love Oracle deck by Elena Fairchild. And the artwork for these cards is by an artist named Razuli. I figured the Journey of Love deck would be quite appropriate for the Venus retrograde that we're going to be experiencing throughout the spring months. And I'm going to try to keep a focus on that deck during the retrograde months for the monthly and bi-monthly videos. So, Leo, let me get some shuffles on for y'all. And while I'm shuffling, I want to take this time to let you know that if this reading does not resonate for you, that's alright. You've got a little bit of each of the zodiac in you, believe it or not. Your natal chart has 12 houses, and it's each ruled by one of the zodiac signs. So, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I encourage you to Google the words free natal chart and have your birth certificate close by so you can fill out that form properly. It'll want your birth date, your birth time, and your birthplace be as exact as possible so you can get an exact representation of where the planets were when you took your very first breath on this planet. And the accuracy of that chart determines the accuracy of your readings, not just for my videos, but for other readers' videos as well. Now, once you've generated that natal chart, you can look up different YouTube or Google different tutorials on how to read your chart, and it will show you how to find your moon and rising sign placements. If you've done all that, you're confused, you still can't figure it out, then you can send me a screenshot of your natal chart to sweettastro@gmail.com, and I will do my very best to get back to you as soon as possible with those placements, because I feel like that's something everybody needs to know about themselves. It's a free service that I provide because I have used astrology not only as a predictive tool, but also as psychoanalysis, for psychoanalytical, for being my own head shrink, if you will. Because I didn't have insurance after the fire, so I had to figure out a way how to pull myself out of the darkness I was in. And I found it. And this was a part of it. I'm glad you're here with me now. And if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say the fire, I've got a playlist of backlogged vlogs that talk about a house fire that I survived. That actually was my spiritual awakening and put me on the path to where I am right now, reading tarot cards and telling you about astrology. Amongst other things, y'all. Let me go ahead and cut. You are hosting a lunar eclipse that is actually occurring tomorrow night for me, where I live. The moon is full tonight, and it's in Leo, so you're probably feeling pretty emotional tonight, and I hope that this reading is extra resonant for you. I tried to time it to where I was going to be able to do this reading for you before the eclipse, but while the moon was still full. Let's see if it works. Okay, I'm going to pull regular 4-card spread that I would do for the beginning of the month for y'all. The bottom card representing the underlying theme or the overarching energy, however you choose to see it. And the top 3 for clarity. Now I'm going to pull from the Journey of Love Oracle deck by Elena Fairchild. She's one of my favorite authors of these oracle cards. I don't know if that's the appropriate term. Creator, maybe, more appropriate. I just really enjoy her energy. I enjoy the energy of the cards, the artwork, the messages that come forward, the way that they support and resonate with the messages that seem to come through with the tarot more often than not. And many of my viewers really have found a connection with those decks as well. Some serious healing has gone on in people's worlds because of things that were brought forth, which just makes my heart smile, y'all. From the Divine Circus Oracle deck by Elena Fairchild. I really, really enjoy this deck. It appeals to the creepy little Scorpio riser that I am. I'm going through a bunch of my clothes and trying to clear out stuff, getting ready for the spring season, and all I wear is black. That's all I wear. I'm such a Scorpio. I have a Scorpio rising. I am an Aries sun and a Taurus moon, but my midheaven is in Leo. And for you astrology nerds out there, you know what I mean. If you don't know what I mean, the midheaven is known as the soul's highest aim. In a very kindergarten way, it's what my soul wants to be when it grows up, is a Leo. And I have my Mars in Leo, and I have a stellium in Leo. My true node. So my hair is quite big right now. I'm actually wearing it curly. It's a pain in the behind to wear it this curly. It's beautiful. I get many compliments on it, but it's a pain in the butt to have to do every day. But it's my Leo quality. I've got that mane of hair, and it's one of the things that I will get compliments on. You know how everybody has that one thing people kind of get complimented on? It's my hair. This deck is the Butterfly Oracle card deck for life changes, and it's by Doreen Virtue. As I ramble on. Let me cut. Like y'all give a crap about my Leo placements. Some of y'all might. Maybe why I resonate with some of y'all. And this deck is the Sage Goddess Gemstone Oracle deck. Alright, Leo, now what I'm going to do is hit the pause button really quick, flip these cards over, do the tarot math, and I'll be right back with your story. Hang tight, y'all. We'll be right back. Hi, Leo. I've got your cards, so let's get started. The underlying theme or overarching energy of this spread is going to make me talk about the eclipse some, because this is the High Priestess card. The High Priestess is the second card of the major arcana. The second card indicates for me the second house of the astrological wheel. That house is ruled by Taurus. That's the house of your money, your values, your earning ability, and your self-esteem. Pardon me. Or as I like to think, anything you could point to, classify, identify, or introduce as mine would fall under that second house umbrella. The High Priestess as a major arcana represents the moon. And I am doing this video under the influence of a full moon in Leo, right before the eclipse tomorrow evening. This eclipse is occurring in your first house. That's the house of your physical body, your personality, and your appearance. It is the house of your physical embodiment and who the world sees you as. It's a physical personality type house. This card represents the unconscious, or your response, intuition, and feelings. It also deals with either expressing your emotion or harboring secrets, dealing with your feelings. The fact that it's a full moon in Leo tonight and an eclipse tomorrow night, I have a feeling you're definitely in your feels right now. Probably feeling a little stressed out too. Remember to focus on yourself. that's the only thing you really have any control over anyways, right? You could be feeling really psychic. Or you could be looking to someone who does stuff like this. Astrology and tarot card readings or other divination services. The first card in the top 3 for clarity, and if you need a time frame, could represent the past, is the Sun card. And this is your card. This is your ruling luminary, Leo. This is the 19th card of the Major Arcana. 1 plus 9 is 10. And that speaks to the Capricorn ruled house of, I like to think of it like this. William Shakespeare said, all the world is a stage, and I consider the 10th house as the stage that you approach the world on, and it's how the world knows you. The world knows you through your career, your status, your reputation, and how you deal with authorities. This can be authority figures in your world or in your life, or this can be authority figures in their field, like a doctor, lawyer, or professor. This card is representative of the Sun. The Sun right now is in Aquarius, but that really isn't going to be of major impact during the Venus retrograde, and that's what this video was intended to talk about. The Sun is about... Let me grab my drink. My bad, Leo. Okay. Thanks for sticking with me, y'all. I'm so sorry. The Sun represents, it's your self-expression. It's your will. It's your assertion. It's your life force. This card is an indication of success or fulfillment. It could also be dealing with some sort of pregnancy or dealing with children in some way because of this little guy right here riding in on the horse. You are having a solar eclipse at for the fall. So there's lots of changes that are going on in your world this year, Leo. The second card that represents the past, or the present, I'm sorry. This card represents the present, if you need a time frame, is the Ace of Swords in reverse. The swords represent air sign energy, and the air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. You could be dealing with someone who has air sign quality to them, or someone who has one of those air signs as a sun, moon, or rising sign. Really just depending. This Ace of Swords is normally, in the upright, it's seen as a good idea, like one of those eureka moments. Could also be like an argument that comes out of nowhere as well sometimes. But in the reverse, I see this as like drawing a line in the sand, like you stake the sword in the ground and you draw the line in the sand. I also see this as you dealing with somebody or something or some sort of situation that has probably not got the full details or the full information at hand. It could be you that doesn't have all of the information. It could be the other person or the other party. You could be dealing with misinformation or even possible deception or lying. There's silver lining in the situation, but you're really going to have to dig for it. I would also encourage you to maintain your integrity and be in your integrity. It just makes your life a whole lot easier, Leo, if that's what you're, not that Leos aren't in their integrity, but you like attention. attention is a commodity for you, and it could be, attention can feel like love to some Leos. No judgment. I'm just trying to break it down for y'all. The third card that was pulled for you, which represents the future, if you need a time frame, is the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. This Wheel of Fortune card is the 10th card of the Major Arcana, and this is the second card that you've had that speaks to that house of your career, status, and reputation. This is the 10th card of the Major Arcana, which speaks to the 10th house, ruled by Capricorn. You may be dealing with someone who has a lot of Capricornian energy in them as well, because like I said, this is the second time that the number 10's been brought up, and that house is ruled by Capricorn. You do have, well, aside from the career and status, the reputation sort of thing, Pluto is transiting through Capricorn, which is your 6th house. And the 6th house is the house of your work and health, or the competency and skills that you bring to the services that you provide. And it also deals with your daily life, the daily to-do list, and the daily minutia, what you do, your daily grind, the things that you do to make your life easier and more efficient on a daily basis. And Pluto transiting through that area of your life, there's been a lot of change going through your work and possibly your health. And it could also possibly be playing out in that 10th house, dealing with your career and your status and your reputation. The link between all of that is Capricorn. Capricorn rules the 10th house, and Pluto is transiting through Capricorn, which for you is the 6th house of work and health. And Virgo rules the 6th house. Now, the Wheel of Fortune, as a Major Arcana card, represents the planet Jupiter. The planet Jupiter is known for its expansive qualities. It's also known for its achievement and excess. So, Jupiter is the gas giant, or a gas giant, and wherever it goes, it makes it bigger. If it goes into an area of life that hasn't been so great, then it's going to make it not so great even more. If it's going into an area that's been peachy keen, then it's going to be nothing but sunshine and rainbows. It really just depends on your particular aspects in your particular chart. Jupiter is in the 3rd house for you, though, Leo. The 3rd house is ruled by Gemini, and Gemini is the house, or that 3rd house of communication, short-distance trips, siblings, cousins, and neighbors, and people in your neighborhood. Communication is a big spectrum, so let's talk about that. That's how you speak. It's how people interpret you. It's how you interpret others. But it's also how you get your message out into the world through your communication devices. This is also speaking to your commute, not only the path or the road that you take, but also the vehicle that you use. Jupiter being in that area could be that you're having a lot of issues in communication, or you're doing a lot of communicating, or you're doing a lot of short distance driving, or you're doing a lot of neighborhood volunteering, activism work. See how it can play out in many of those different areas. The Wheel of Fortune. Don't let it bother you that it's in the reverse, because Jupiter just recently went retrograde, and I feel like that's indicative of why this has fallen in the reverse. It's the fact that Jupiter's just made you go more introspective. You are reflecting on what Jupiter has brought you so far in that 3rd house. And Zoe's right down on the floor underneath of my bed chewing on a bone. So if you can hear her gnawing on that, I'm sorry. But she's occupied and happy. So this card indicates a change of direction. This change of direction could be in your career. It could be in your work or health. Or it could be in your day-to-day life. It really just depends. So, and I also see this card as an eclipse card. And this reading ended up being more about the eclipse than it ended up being about your Venus retrograde, y'all. So, let me give you, well, these are just a couple more notes that I have on placements of your stuff. Lots of notes, lots of notes. I did the tarot math for y'all. The tarot math ended up being 31. 3 plus 1 is 4. And that speaks to the Cancer ruled house of your home and family, or your roots and your foundation. That can be internal or external. Home is where you live or where you consider home to be. Family is who you share that home with. That can be your parents. That can be your partner, your spouse, your children, your fur babies, your roommates, your housemates, or your house guests. The internal structure of your home would be the studs or the plumbing of your house, or the external foundation would be the foundation. Roots would be in the backyard. But for you as an individual, your roots or foundation would be internally speaking. Foundation would be your teeth or your bones, and your roots would be your deeply held philosophies and values. So, maybe there's issues playing out in that 4th house, indicating that through the numerology that showed up in the tarot spread. Now, from the Sage Goddess Gemstone Oracle deck, I pulled the Black Kyanite card for you. And this is a card of protection, healing, and clearing. It can help heal and amplify the vibration of the root chakra. And it reads, Black Kyanite is the only stone that clears energies but does not need to be cleared. It offers protection, healing, and transmutation of low vibrations. You've pulled this card because you need to protect yourself or clear stuck energies around you. So meditate with Black Kyanite to surround yourself with pure white light and to call in your guides for protection. And to stay true to the path of your soul's deepest calling. From the Journey of Love Oracle deck by Elena Fairchild, I pulled the 51st card, the Dream a Little card. 5 plus 1 is 6, and that speaks to that Virgo ruled house of work and health, or competency and skills that you bring to the services that you provide. It's also that day-to-day agenda. That's where Pluto is transiting. Pluto is the planet of deep transformation and deep renewal. When I think of Pluto changing, I think of, or plutonic changes, I think of coastal erosion. It's something that's occurring all the time, but it takes a meta perspective to see it, or a before and after picture to see the change and the devastation in that regard. This card indicates that a spiritual gift of inspiration is on its way to you or may have recently found you. Understand that the divine wants to bless your life, but not be held to any expectations or constraints. Be willing to be open so that you can receive it and believe in the new possibilities that are coming for you. The second card that I pulled for you, or the third, pardon me, y'all, I'm so sorry. This is from the Divine Circus Oracle deck, the 23rd card. It reads Divine Disguise. Now, I live in Louisiana. I can't help but think Mardi Gras when I see this mask. So, if you live in Louisiana or you're visiting Louisiana, don't forget to yell, "Throw me something, mister," during the Mardi Gras season, and hopefully you'll get some beads. But this card is an indicator that everything that comes to us in this life comes to us as a lesson or a blessing. This is an oracle of a positive message, that peace of mind and realization that the universe is in your corner and on your side is coming. You're going to realize that there is divine knowledge and divine guidance lighting your path. The real beauty of the situation that you are in or will soon be in hasn't been fully revealed to you yet. But you're soon about to realize just how loved and supported you are in all areas of your life. This was the 23rd card. 2 plus 3 is 5. And that speaks to the Leo ruled house of your creativity, your children, your social life, and your pleasures. I like to think of the 5th house as the house of sparks and the house that has your fingerprints and DNA all over it, because it's where you have the most skin in the game. When I say it's the house of sparks, it's the spark of creation, the sparks of love, and the sparks of life. Saturn, the planet of limitation, restriction, and containment, has been moving through this 5th house for you over the last year and a half, almost 2 years. So the struggles that you've been going through has either been a blessing or a lesson. And sometimes struggles can be blessings. Like I said earlier in the introduction, I survived a house fire, and I never even imagined I would be doing a YouTube channel, much less doing astrology and tarot videos. That was the furthest thing from my mind 2 years ago. I created this channel May 4th, 2016, under the influence of a Taurus new moon. And it's kind of grown wilder than I ever could have dreamed, beyond my wildest imaginations. The final card that I have for you from the Butterfly Oracle card for Life Changes by Doreen Virtue is Welcome the New, which is appropriate for y'all. With this lunar eclipse that you're hosting, and then the solar eclipse that you will be hosting in the fall. There's a lot of new that will be coming into your world. The endings that are coming to fruition for you through this lunar eclipse are coming about so that the new may come in the fall. And I'm sorry if you can see Zoe's little shadow. She missed me while I was at school today, so she's mad at me for doing this now. I promise I'm going to love on her when I'm done. This card indicates that you may be feeling anxious in the face of changes, but understand that all is happening according to divine timing and divine planning. Trust that all is well and all will be well. A big change is coming to you, Leo. Don't fear it. Embrace it. Okay. These cards have done made a liar out of me, because this video was nothing but some eclipse stuff for y'all. So once again, because this is done for Venus retrograde, let me highlight very quickly. Venus will be retrograding. Venus, the planet of love, beauty, harmony, money, and resources, will be retrograding in Aries, your 9th house, and Pisces, your 8th house. The 9th house is your worldview expanded through study or travel. And the 8th house is life, death, and rebirth, other people's money, transformation, regeneration, and metamorphosis, the instincts, sexuality, and other people's money. Hopefully, the March reading will bring forth a little bit more information for your Venus stuff, because this reading was not exactly what I was expecting. But I can't help how they fell. Regardless, I hope you enjoyed this reading, Leo. Breathe, baby, breathe. By the time you watch this, you'll be feeling that eclipse energy. Hopefully, I'll get this portion, or this half of the zodiac, uploaded tonight. Fingers crossed. I've got to stop yapping so I can start on the next video, though, so I hope you're well. Please take care of yourself. Please be kind to yourself and save some of that kindness for others, Leo. We're all going through private things in our world some of us may never speak about to another living soul. I hope you're well. I'll see you soon for the March videos. But until then, take care. Namaste. And bye, y'all.